Narcissistic people are masters at getting others to do what they want. They're experts at manipulating you emotionally and psychologically. Sometimes we don't even realize what's happened until it's too late. We find ourselves stuck in a cycle of abuse and mistreatment that seems impossible to escape. But here's the good news. Once you know what you're up against, it becomes much easier to protect yourself. So join me as I dive deep into the secrets of narcissistic relationships and see if I can uncover the hidden patterns that keep us hooked. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our channel, where we explore psychology and mental health. Today, we'll be talking about a topic that is very close to my heart, narcissistic relationships. So please like and subscribe so you never miss any of our videos. Let's start off with a shocking fact. 1 in 20 adults will experience a form of narcissistic abuse in their lifetime. That's 1 in 20 of us. Chances are you or someone you know has been in a relationship with a narcissist. But what are they really after? What is it that keeps us coming back for more despite the pain and heartbreak they cause? First off, let's get clear on what we mean by narcissistic relationships. It's not just someone who's a bit self-obsessed or has a big ego. No, we're talking about a serious personality disorder that leaves people incapable of empathy and compassion. Think of it as a form of emotional abuse where the other person is only concerned with themselves and their own needs. They'll use any means necessary to get what they want, whether it's through deception, manipulation, or even gaslighting. And believe me, these relationships can be incredibly confusing and draining. You may find yourself constantly walking on eggshells around them, always trying to please them only to feel more hurt and frustrated than ever before. So why do these relationships keep us hooked, despite all the pain and suffering they cause? Well, according to experts in the field of psychology, there are several factors that play a role in keeping victims of narcissistic abuse trapped in their web. The most common one is something called cognitive dissonance. This is basically when your brain tries to make sense of two conflicting ideas. For example, you may know that the relationship isn't healthy for you, but you still convince yourself that it's not that bad. In other words, you try to justify the mistreatment you face by minimizing it or making excuses for the narcissist. It's like trying to fit a round peg in a square hole. Just doesn't make sense. But unfortunately, it's a coping mechanism that many people use when they're in a narcissistic relationship. Another factor that keeps people stuck in these types of relationships is something called trauma bonding. This happens when you become attached to your abuser because of the ups and downs of the relationship. 1 minute, everything seems fine and dandy, and then the next minute, you're being treated like garbage. This roller coaster ride of emotions can be very addictive and lead to a deep sense of loyalty towards your abuser. It's almost like Stockholm Syndrome, where hostages develop positive feelings towards their captors. Yeah, it sounds crazy, but it's a real psychological phenomenon that affects many people in abusive relationships. But wait, there's more. Another reason why people stay in these relationships is something called learned helplessness. This is when you feel like you have no control over your life and that everything that happens to you is out of your hands. When you're in a narcissistic relationship, the narcissist will often try to make you feel helpless so that you rely on them. They'll take away your independence and make decisions for you without even asking you first. It's like being in a prison where the walls are invisible, but you can't help but feel trapped. So now that we understand why people get hooked on narcissistic relationships, let's talk about what these relationships are all about. What do narcissistic people really want? According to research, there are 3 main things they're after. Number 1, validation and admiration. Narcissists need to be admired and praised all the time. They want constant validation from others because it feeds their inflated sense of importance. Number 2, power and control. Narcissists love having power over others. They want to be in control of every situation so that they can manipulate it to their advantage. And number 3, attention and admiration. Narcissists thrive on attention. They want to be the center of attention at all times and will do whatever it takes to make sure that happens. If you've ever been in a relationship with someone like this, you know just how exhausting and draining it can be. They're selfish, manipulative, and always looking for ways to control you. But the most heartbreaking part is that they're incapable of showing empathy or compassion. You may find yourself constantly giving to them without receiving anything in return, always walking on eggshells around them and feeling like you're never good enough. Now, let's talk about the key traits of narcissists that make these relationships so toxic. First off, they're all about themselves. We mean really all about themselves. It's like they have a black hole where your empathy should be. They can't understand how someone else feels, and they don't care either. It's all about their needs, their wants, and their desires. And if yours don't align with theirs, well, too bad for you, right? Next up is the grandiosity. These people have an inflated sense of their own importance. They think they're better than everyone else and deserve special treatment. It is like they are living in their own fantasy world, where they are the star of the show and everyone else is just there to support them. Honestly, the only ones backing them up are the poor folks who get caught in the narcissist's tangled lies. Narcissists are super envious of others. They crave what you have and will go to great lengths to snatch it away. It could be your success, your happiness, or even your friends and family. To them, your happiness is a threat, and they'll try to destroy it to protect their own fragile ego. And let's not forget about the manipulation. Narcissists are masters at manipulation. They know how to push your buttons and make you do what they want. It's like a chess match where they're always thinking ahead, trying to outsmart you at every turn. But trust me, you can't win this game. The best move is to walk away and never look back. The last trait we'll discuss today is the lack of remorse. Narcissists don't feel guilty or remorseful when they do something wrong. They think the rules don't apply to them and that they're above it all. It's like they're driving a car without brakes. They just keep going and don't care about the damage they leave in their wake. As you can see, these traits make narcissistic relationships incredibly toxic and destructive. They leave victims feeling drained, manipulated, and broken. But the sad truth is that these relationships are more common than you might think. About 66% of people will face narcissistic abuse at some point. That's a staggering number, and it shows just how widespread this issue is. But here's the good news. The more we understand about narcissistic relationships, the better equipped we are to spot them and avoid them. That's right. Knowledge is power, and it can help us break free from the chains of toxic relationships. Now, let's talk about something that might surprise you. A whopping 9 out of 10 times the narcissistic person is actually the boss. Yes, you heard that right. The person who seems so nice and supportive may have a dark side that you are not aware of. They might use their power to manipulate and control you. So it's important to be on the lookout for signs of narcissism in your boss. Remember, they're not always obvious, and sometimes it takes time to see the red flags. But once you do, it's time to take action. Don't let anyone treat you like a doormat. You deserve better. In conclusion, narcissistic relationships are incredibly toxic and destructive, but knowledge is power. By understanding what to look out for, you can protect yourself from falling prey to their manipulative tactics. Remember, you're not alone in this. Reach out to friends, family, or professionals for help and support. And always remember to prioritize your own well-being and mental health. You deserve nothing less. Before we go, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below with your thoughts, experiences, or suggestions. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to watch another video, How to Heal from a Toxic Relationship. Thanks for tuning in and see you next time.